No one you know procrastinates the way that I do. Even on several occasions in my own life, I've been shocked at how bad it's gotten. There were days in high school where I would spend the entire night procrastinating to do a project. I would watch videos and play video games until early in the morning, off no sleep, and with 2 hours left until school, I'd be working on that project. And these were big, important projects that I had to do for school. I noticed that my procrastination got even worse as I got into college. When I was doing online classes during the lockdown, I would spend entire days for 10 to 12 hours just sitting on my computer, bored and lazy, not doing anything with my time worthwhile. I wouldn't get my assignments done. I would barely even pay attention in classes because I was so sleep deprived, despite having all the time in the world to get my assignments done because I was at home the whole time. If you procrastinate really badly, you can probably relate to this pretty well. You'll have what seems like infinite amount of time to get something done, and your brain will rationalize saving that incredibly important thing for the last second possible. I realized that in high school, my friends and I would sometimes, in our little inside jokes, we would make fun of the people who got their assignment done the very next day, even though it was due in a week. Such a try. Why is he trying so hard, bro? Bro, it's just a grade, bro. Why are you trying so hard, bro? When secretly in my mind, I was like, how do they do that? How did this person get the assignment assigned on one day and figure out it was due next month and get it done within a couple weeks? Like, how do you do that and not do it on the last day? I thought that's like normal for me. Over time and spending a lot of my time on the internet, I found the self-improvement community and found out that there were a lot of people just like me who faced serious procrastination issues. Obviously, I don't know if theirs was as severe as mine or worse, because I can't imagine. It's very hard for me to imagine someone with worse procrastination than me, or maybe I'm just overblowing it. But it did make me feel better that it wasn't just me. And in this video, I want to discuss kind of the reasons why we end up doing this. In case you don't know who I am, my name is Greg, and my goal is to help out young men on their self-improvement journey. Clearly, that's something that you're interested in, so feel free to like and subscribe to the channel while you're here. You'd be joining a growing community of like-minded people working to better themselves and help each other out while we're here. Now, back to the original question of this video. Why do we procrastinate? And to be honest, the answer is very simple. It's because it's comfortable. It's very comfortable to procrastinate. So let's say you're assigned an essay by one of your professors or teachers, and it's a 4-page essay that they assign on Monday and it's due on Friday. So you have 5 whole days to get 4 pages done. That's so easy. You could do that with any amount of time that you were given. So you save it for Thursday night or even Friday morning before the class, because it's more comfortable to enjoy the rest of the time before and just save those last couple hours to get the assignment done, not realizing that you could have saved a lot of the stress of doing that at the last moment by just starting earlier. Now, if you're a procrastinator, you've already been through this. You don't need me to explain this to you. But for those of you out there who, for some reason, watching this video, who get an assignment and instantly get it done, that's what it's like for us. But back to the topic of comfort. Comfort is pretty much the enemy that you're facing your entire life. Oddly enough, comfort is the reason why we have a lot of the great things that we have in our modern day and age that make life easier. But comfort is also the reason for a lot of the negative things that you'll find in your life. Comfort is the reason why you're addicted to your phone. Comfort is the reason why you watch one more Netflix video and one more Netflix video and one more Netflix video. Comfort is the reason why you stay in bed for an extra hour and then oversleep and then you're late to work or school or whatever. Because it's just comfortable to stay where you're at instead of starting a new task that actually takes your brain power or physical effort. In order to stop procrastinating, you first need to recognize that you're doing it because it's the comfortable option. It is much more comfortable to spend that entire week that you had that essay assigned just fooling around, playing video games, watching TV, or just chilling on your phone for 5 of those 5 days that it was due. And then, when it really gets down to the wire and it's 3 hours before class, you're like, okay, now it's time for me to lock in because I don't have any more time. I've wasted all the time that I had being comfortable, and now I have to stress myself out to get this done off of no sleep because I was on my phone all night or because I was watching videos all night. I'm speaking to this with a lot of personal experience of those things happening to me on a regular basis. I recall having a final paper due for college where it was an 8-page paper. And as a final paper, that's not anything crazy. 8-page paper, you can get it done in about a week with little to no stress. This 8-page paper was assigned close to a month before it was due. Can you guess when I did it? I did it in the last 6 hours before it was due at midnight. Given this was an online class, I didn't have to go to and from school to get this done. I didn't have to reach out in person or anything. This was entirely online. So I had all the resources needed available to me at an arm's reach. But I spent that entire month procrastinating, not getting anything done, and really just fooling around on my own because it was much more comfortable to do that than to actually sit down, do the first step, which is writing your name on the document and, just typing for a few hours. The thought of doing that was so excruciating to my brain that I just went on for days and weeks just watching YouTube videos and wasting my time. How can you break out of this cycle of staying comfortable? Well, the obvious answer is to do more uncomfortable things. Because as you get used to doing more uncomfortable things, it's not going to be that much of a stretch for your mind to do that more uncomfortable thing. This is the part of the video where I'm going to recommend implementing my own actionable steps that I've tried that definitely have helped me to improve my procrastination issues. And while I'm still not perfect and I still procrastinate all the time, you can tell by how much I procrastinate. Look at my last video and then look at how recent the video before that is. I think it was about 2 weeks that I didn't upload, all because of procrastination. It's not because I didn't have the time. It's not because, I was too busy, I was too tired. It does not take that long for me to record a video, all right? Purely because of procrastination. So here is the first actionable step, and I want you to really take advantage of this. Know what high dopamine and low dopamine activities are. Now, this isn't a scientific definition or anything, but my definition of a high dopamine activity is any activity that gives you quick, easy bursts of dopamine, which is the feel-good chemical in your brain. So a good example of a high dopamine activity is scrolling through TikTok. There will always be a new stimulus as you keep swiping on TikTok, and it'll keep you hooked for hours and hours on that dopamine. Imagine scrolling through TikTok for 3 hours and then doing an essay. You can't. Or at least if you're like me, you can't. You can't just have all that stimulus and now staring at a blank document thinking, oh, now what do I do? You're going to want to bounce from one high dopamine activity to another. So you'll end that TikTok binge session and eat a bunch of snacks after. And then after you eat those snacks, you're like, oh, I need something to watch while I eat my snackies. And then you'll watch a YouTube video as you eat your snacks, and it's a vicious cycle. Those are high dopamine activities. Before you do something difficult that you're procrastinating to do a low dopamine activity. So something that still, probably feels good to do or feels fulfilling to do, but is not as sharp with mental stimulation. I'd say a very good example is reading a book that you're interested in. That's a great way to stimulate your brain, but not with such extreme stimulus that you feel zero interest in doing something difficult afterwards. Another good low dopamine activity is meditating. It's just putting your brain in a peaceful state of mind where you have no specific thoughts and you're just controlling your breath. So I'm going to give you an example right now. I'm going to meditate right now for 10 seconds. That was meditating. Literally. You're just trying to devoid your brain of thoughts and just be aware of the situation around you. All right? That's literally it. So you can do activities like that. Go for a walk. That's one of my favorites. Even when it's cold outside, even when it's hot outside, go for a walk outside. It'll give your brain a chance to reset from all the stimulus that you're watching on your on your computer, on your phone, all that stuff. Find your own low dopamine activities that you can do before you do the thing that's difficult. Don't eat a crazy big meal before you start writing your essay, because you're going to want to watch something while you eat your meal. Have something that's easy to do. So that's my first tip for beating procrastination. My second tip for beating procrastination is generally to do difficult things. Because when you do something really difficult, either physically challenging or mentally challenging, it'll be a lot easier to go over the hill of actually doing something that you're procrastinating to do. Because if you finish a full Sudoku puzzle, how much harder will it be to start writing, a 2-page paper? You did something that's pretty mentally challenging, it's pretty mentally taxing, and you do those pretty often. Let's say you do one puzzle a day for 2 weeks. You just took on a great mental challenge, and now, writing an essay doesn't seem that difficult when you're doing something that mentally challenging. If you want to try a more physical challenge, because, one of the best physical challenges that I think I've put myself through is going for my daily walks that I usually talk about on this channel. I would go on these daily walks in the winter when it was freezing cold in New York. If you don't know where New York is, it's in the Northeast, so it gets pretty cold up here. Walking outside in those winters voluntarily with no destination, you're just walking outside and coming back home. That physical challenge in itself really improved my mental toughness. Because there were days that a 30-minute walk would take me 60 minutes because it was just, I had to walk through snow and freezing cold winds and all that stuff. Your mental toughness gets way better when you do difficult stuff like that. Obviously, you're still taking care of yourself. You're still not pushing yourself to the point where you get hurt. You need to be under control in these situations. But do difficult stuff like that. Easiest difficult thing that you can do right now, and I'm looking at you, this is something you can do now, is hop in a cold shower. You hop in a cold shower right now, leave the water on full blast, cold for 3 minutes. That's a real gut check to see how tough you are. And over time, you'll start getting better and better at staying under that cold water for longer and longer periods of time. And that really builds up your mental toughness. So that's my second tip. Do difficult activities to make your mental toughness even harder. Because the better your mental toughness and your mental discipline, something that you're procrastinating towards, bro, that's going to be a joke to you. If you get yourself to the point where you're reading difficult books every day, you're reading challenging books, you're doing puzzles, you're going outside in the freezing cold, how much of a joke is it going to be to you if your teacher gives you an assignment that everyone else is freaking out over? It's just a paper, bro. You just turn on the computer and type it. Simple as that. Now, it's easy for me to say all of these things, but the most important thing is to do them. There's things you can do today to improve your mental toughness and to change your approach towards high dopamine, low dopamine activities. So keep these things in mind and get started. I guess it's kind of ironic for me to say, get started today on killing your procrastination. Do not open another YouTube video after this. If you're really serious about this, you won't open a YouTube video after this. You will close your phone, close your computer, and get started on that thing that you need to do now. Do it.